minutes away. We're getting you all started to decorate and wrap up your Christmas gifts. So as they say, good things come in small packages. So nothing better than our pillow box with poinsettia. So it comes with thinlits, multiple pieces, including the centers, also your holly. It could be, these could be the holly leaves, these could be the leaves for the poinsettia, but it's all part of the pillow box with poinsettia. So here's the die, the thinlet that comes with it. You would need to cut 2 of these to create the full pillow box. So with the thinlits, you can actually cut, if your cardstock isn't too heavy, you can cut 2 at a time, but you just want to make sure your score lines are evident. You also get the center, smaller, more detailed thinlet for the poinsettia, and then this is more like the shadow. It's a heavier, solid piece that will shadow behind the individual, it shadow behind these more detail. You also get the centers and then the holly leaf. Or sorry, the poinsettia leaves, which also work great for holly leaves. You also get this great set of 4 dies. So this creates all different sizes. A narrow one if you just want to do a quick little tag on your poinsettia box, or if you want to do a little tag onto any kind of gift, maybe hanging it off of a nice little jewelry piece or something just to put their name on it. It could be cute, a little place card, but tags are always perfect to have. Anything you need to put anybody's personalization on, a tag is a great die to have, and it also comes in these multiple sizes. I love the narrow ones. You don't have to say a whole lot, and it's a great die set. You're also going to get 2 of the glitters. This is from our festive set. This is the Pink Fizz and the Hollyberry. They're fine glitter. They're biodegradable, and it comes with our festive series. And our festive colors come with all sorts of coordinated pieces. You also get, in this set, our cardstock. You get 1 of every color of our festive cardstock. The multiple colors, you get the peppermint, you get the mistletoe, you get the pine cone, all these great, the crimson red, the hollyberry red. So the glitters coordinate with the cardstock and also with the sculpting foam. So in our sculpting foam that's included in your all wrapped up, you're going to get the 2 pieces of the crimson. They're larger than this. I've already used mine and cut it up a bit. And you're also going to get the mistletoe. We have glitters, we have sculpting foam, we have sequins and beads that all coordinate with all of these. So you're ready to get started with all sorts of fun stuff to create, cut, and embellish your projects. You also will be getting our jeweled snowflake 3D embossing folder. And if you're familiar with our embossing folder, it's a heavier plastic that gives stronger detail on the embossing. So similar to our original texture fades and embossing folders, but with this heavier plastic and stronger images with the positive and the negative pushing into your material, it gives a really strong image for your projects. So if you can see here on the snowflake design on this pillow box I created, you can see the detail. So I'm not going to do any kind of misting, but what you would do is you would mist your paper to give it a real strong detail, and it softens the fibers of your paper. So I didn't even do that, and I didn't need to, and look how great that turned out. You also would be getting the express glue. A little goes a long way, dries really quickly, and I love it. And you will be getting stamens. So I'm not sure how many you get, but this is a lot. So the stamens are perfect for the inside of any of your flowers that we have. You just pull them through the hole that's cut when you do your die cutting, or you can just punch a hole in any of your projects that you need the stamens to go through if the die itself does not have a hole in the center. So that's what I did on that one. So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna cut a few pieces just to get started so you could see how to create it, and then I'm gonna do a little different technique to create the box. So I'm gonna go ahead, put on my glasses because, you know, I need those. I'm going to put all these pieces aside. And using my Big Shot fold-away machine, I'm going to cut my pillow box. So let me take my scissors, cut this in half. Normally I could cut 2 at a time, but since I need to see my the score lines on my pillow box, I'm going to just do 1 at a time, but just 1 of these at a time. But I'm going to be able to cut, since I'm using all thinlits, cut multiple pieces of other die shapes. So using also the sculpting foam, I'm going to cut my leaves. This is so soft that I'm going to actually have it go through both pieces. So as long as the blade is over both pieces, let me put this one on top of the smaller one just so I can see that it's going to cut both at the same time. I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to cut my more detailed poinsettia, the one with all the detailed designs. Now, if you can see this, these are just going to be score lines. So it'll kind of give a little more detail on your poinsettia. But these here, the pressure of the machine will create those little holes. It will not cut that because there's no blades around that area. So it just gives a little more detail to what you're cutting. I'm going to cut 2 at a time of this one. Let me cut that in half again. And I do want a little center, so I'm going to use this little piece here with a piece of the mistletoe green and run it through the machine. I will have to cut the box one more time just because I'm only doing one of the box shape itself, just to make sure my score lines will be obvious. Slide that off. So with the pressure machine, I was able to cut through 2 pieces of the foam, the sculpting foam, my 2 leaves, oops, the static. I like to usually glide my cutting pads off just because sometimes the static comes off. I mean, static makes everything go flying. So, and as you can see, they're stuck to me. Let me get those off. And take my little piece here to get this little spot. And these are great for the poke holes too. There's the detail poinsettia there. And then you see the detail on this. I did the cardstock, the detail of cutting out the center of that poinsettia perfectly. So if you could see the score lines here, this is showing me exactly where I need to crease it. So I'm going to do one more because I need both sides of the box. And then I will put my machine off to the side because I won't need that anymore and get it out of the way with all of my rubbish here. So if you have any kind of gift cards that you want to slide into this cute little box, or pieces of jewelry, like I said, little good things come in small packages, and nothing better than a piece of jewelry in there, or money, cash fits perfectly in there. So if you added up all the individual product that's included in this set, this December craft box, you get a lot for your money. So go to the website, sizzix.co.uk and sizzix.com, and you will see the pricing and everything that's included. Plus, if you check any of our past videos, you'll be able to see all the projects that everybody's created. So that'll be fun for you to take a look at, and then go ahead and order them ASAP because you want to get crafting and you want to get wrapping. Let me put all this off to the side. Get out of my way. Okay, so what I like to do for my, sorry, this metal's a little noisy, for my pillow box is I like to take our paper sculpting kit, and then for the score lines, I'm not going to bear down hard, but I want to make sure I have a good evident image folded on these score lines. So I'm just going to take this piece, or you can just use your nail, and I'm just going to glide it along the area there. And as I do it, I'm just going to press it in just so I'm following the area. I mean, it is an evident and strong embossed design, I mean, score line there, so you don't really need to do that. I just like to do it to be safe. And then this part here, this is the tab. That's where your adhesive will go. And whether you're using the express glue or hot glue, it adheres down really well. So since this is the, if the paper has a textured finish on it, you want to make sure that your blade is going against the good side, because you want to make sure that the textured part of your paper is on the outside of the box, because that's the pretty part you want them to see. But the stronger image of the score line is going to be more on the outside, so I like to fold it both ways just to be sure it's going to be strong enough. So that one's ready to go. And down the other way so I can make sure it's a good, clean score. Okay, let's do it again with this one. Using our funnel tray is great when I'm doing any kind of glittering. So I'm going to show you, if you want to do any kind of glittering with your designs, you can go ahead, add a little bit of the express glue and then put it in our funnel tray. And I'll show you how I did that when I finished the sculpting pieces of the poinsettia. Let's get this done. This would be a really cute project if you want to finish up, maybe do a little different advent calendar, even though the Christmas, December is already underway. It's kind of a fun idea if you put individual numbers, die cut some using any of our alphabet sets, our alphanumeric set, and die cut the numbers and put that on each one, and that would be cute, and add little trinkets in there. It could be just a little lip gloss, a little hand cream, or something like that would be kind of fun. Just number them, and that would be really cute for them to have. So these are ready for me to add on when I'm ready to get going. So I want to show you our sculpting foam. So our sculpting foam is a thin foam, but using the heat from our heat tool, our heat tool, sorry, heat gun, you're able to manipulate it. So I'm going to go ahead and with one of my pieces that come, the spatula that comes with the glue gun accessory kit, I'm going to be able to use this so I don't burn my fingers when I'm manipulating after it's done. And so it doesn't blow away, I'm going to use the spatula that comes with it. And once you see it starting to curl, you know it's ready to stop the heat and just kind of crease it along how you want. I could stretch it if I wanted, or just leave it as is. So that stays up. It doesn't shrink up, it just gives it a little bit of a more depth and dimension, which makes it kind of fun. This one again. Move this one out of the way so it doesn't blow off the table. So you see, the hotter it gets, you start to see the score lines open up, which gives it kind of a more of a realistic design, which is, I think it's kind of cool. So that's ready to go. Once it cools down, it stays put. If you don't like the way it is, heat it up again and then play with it a little bit more. So just to make them all kind of coordinate and they're all kind of have a little bit more dimension, I'm going to also do the same with the leaves. While it's warm, I'm just going to fold it down the middle. Do the same with this one. Our heat gun has two different speeds, so if you want to go faster, you can do that also. You got to work quick because it cools down quick. There we go. How fun is that? So next I'm going to do the stamens. So for the stamens, what I like to do is grab, depends on how large the hole is, grab a couple. I'm just going to do, I'll do 3. Twist it. And then thread it through. Usually I can use my tweezers, but since this one has a good hole in it, I don't need to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that there. Put a little glue from the hot glue gun just to make sure it stays put. And I'll leave that off to the side only because I also want to punch holes in here because the poinsettia does not have a hole in it. So I'm going to use one of the sculpting tool kit pieces. I can use that, or I can use my die pick. And I'm just going to pop a little hole in there. And it's still soft and it stays soft, so I think if I heated it up, it might close up the hole a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and run it through. Maybe I do need my tweezers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my tweezers through here. Our tweezers are the reverse action, so when you squeeze it, it's when they open up. Just going to put it through the hole that I just created. Now I'm going to open it up and grab just a little bit of it and bring it through. I don't want to tear my hole any further, so I'm just going to do it a little slower than normal. Okay, so that's good. And I'll just snip these ends here, and then I'll just hot glue, instead of threading it through the next one, I'm just going to hot glue this one onto the first one. Just kind of have it space out the petals so they're in the middle and they're going through the ones on the opposite side. So what I'm going to do next, just to show you really quickly, I use our funnel tray. And this is perfect. You dump it, you either sprinkle your glitter or sequins or whatever, embossing powder on here while it's laying in there, or you can use it and just dab it in there. Since I had used it earlier, that's what I'm going to do. Let me put a little more glue under this center piece. So it'll stay put because it's moving around a little bit. Those threads out of the way. I love the stamens in the center. Okay, so I always like to do a little puddle. I don't know if you've noticed that in some of my other videos, but I like to do a little puddle and just kind of tap it. I don't want it to be heavy doused with the glitter, because then you lose the detail of the poinsettia petals, the little score lines and cuts in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and just add a little bit to the tips of the leaves and then just kind of dip it in there. You could sprinkle it over, which is what I normally would do, but I had this in there from earlier and it stayed put, so add a little bit more in there since I have some glue on there. And it just brings your flower, my hands are shaking, it brings your flower a little bit more to life. I love that. Okay, so let me put the box together so you can see how to do that. So put this off to the side because we don't need any more glitter. And so the tabs that I had already folded, that's part of the die. So when it's cut, this is the part that's going to go against the side that does not have a tab. So since I have two pieces, I'm not going to do it like this because you would need these two to connect and you need a tab on both sides. So the one with the tab goes against the side with no tab. So whether I use hot glue or my express glue, I'll use the express glue since that's part of your fun December kit. I'm going to go ahead. Oops. A little extra on there. And I'm going to line it up so I can still see my score line. I'm going to line it up right against there like that. Oops. And then since I have enough on my finger still, I'm going to put it on that side. And then with it folded down, you know it's going to match up perfectly because it's using the same exact die. And it dries quickly. Get my fingers cleaned up here. Got a little bit of glue and glitter on the back side, but we don't need to see that. And then I'm going to go ahead, and the parts that you'd already scored down, that makes it easy for it to snap shut. Just like a pillow. But if you rest your head on it, I think it might collapse. But see how easy that was and how perfect that turned out? So with any kind of ribbon you can add, let's see, I think I pulled a piece, white on white. Oh well, it's a great idea. Maybe you would do a contrast. Sorry about my glue I have here on the back side. It must have landed in one of my puddles. I'll go ahead and adhere that down. Another one on the back. Trim that up a bit. And then with my hot glue, just because I think the express glue would also work for your sculpting foam, but the hot glue, you know, it'll stay put and it'll dry quick. gonna go ahead and lay that down. Got my 2 poinsettia leaves here. Another great idea that you could do is before you assemble your pillow box, if you take one of the poinsettia flowers and die cut it into one of the panels of your boxes, and then put a little piece of stencil film or vellum behind it, how great would that be for a little window? But then they would see what's inside. I don't know if you want them to know what's inside. Put a little bit of glue on here. How pretty is that? It turns out to be such a pretty and elegant box. Another cute idea would be if you wanted to go ahead, and add, I guess just these threads are flying all over the place. Add another piece of ribbon underneath here. Let me tuck it through with my die pick, that might help. And this would be, if you did, like I had said before, if you had used the same idea but added a number on top and created a little gift for every day of December for whoever's in your house. If you do the advent calendar, so many advent calendars these days are for little gifts, and I do the same thing for my kids as little clues. So there might be a little clue in there that says, Annalisa, don't forget to do the dishes, and she'll go into the kitchen and she'll see the dishes there, and there might be a little gift for her and her sisters, or each of them maybe, cute pair of Christmas socks or something. So it's kind of fun. You add a little number on there, it would be a cute little advent calendar gift. So I hope this has gotten you inspired and excited to order your craft box. There's all sorts of great techniques and ideas that you can do to create some fun wrapping jobs for any of your gifts, gift giving. Even if your gift isn't small, go ahead and make a bunch of poinsettias and add them to a larger gift box or gift bag. And I'm sure whoever receives it, the packaging itself is gift enough. Thank you so much for joining us. And if I don't see you before the holidays, have a wonderful Christmas.